Good morning, everyone. I'm betting we have some sleepy-eyed people because many of you were up playing too long at CanvasCon yesterday. Huge event, lots of great partners, lots of great educators. We're excited to be back with a new day of live streaming, though, and we have some special guests. First off, I'm going to start by the important, and then I'm going to increase in importance over time. So Tracy, you all know. Tracy is kind of the partner in crime and one of the very best educators that we have on the entire Canvas team. Kevin, the Kevin Squared team over here from Skyward, one of our great SIS partners, thank you to them. And the star of the show, sorry, Kevin and Tracy, is John Connolly, the CTO at Consolidated High School District 230 in Chicagoland, everybody. He's the star. I mean, this is the Katy Perry, the Michael Jackson, the LeBron James, whoever you want to refer to him, it's him. He's here today to be able to drop some knowledge on everybody. And we're just excited to have him. We've got a great partnership with our great friends at Skyward. If you haven't checked them out, go check them out. I will drop a link for you in a little bit. Fantastic SIS, and we're excited to have John, who is a user of both Canvas and Skyward. So with no further ado, as is always the case, you don't want to hear from me. I'm going to turn it over to Kevin and John, kind of take away the show. And as you know, me and Tracy will jump in throughout with all kinds of fun questions. Kevin and John, take it away.
Well, sounds good. Thank you so much, Mark. I tell you, knowing this kind of introduction, I should have watched Good Morning Vietnam a little bit to get myself get revved up on this. But, this is a pretty exciting topic. 5 years ago, Skyward and Canvas signed a strategic alliance to help students and teachers across the country. The goal was really pretty simple: create an API to allow seamless integration between two great platforms. Within 9 months of extensive design, user and beta testing, we rolled out our SIS to LMS API interface in late 2016. We quickly made this available to all 2,200 school districts using Skyward across the globe. Since that time, we've had hundreds of districts across the country realize significant time savings with this API. Districts as small as 1,000 students all the way up to a district of 220,000 students all have benefited from the Skyward Canvas API. No one 5 years ago could have ever imagined the incredible challenges districts have faced due to COVID and with e-learning. So today's topic covers the important SIS to LMS integration. So with me, we've got John Connolly, who evidently, according to Mark, is the star. And Mark, or John, go ahead and take us away. Thank you.
What an introduction. I don't know if I could fill in what that introduction was. Michael, compared to Michael Jordan, I think everyone agrees Michael Jordan is the best over LeBron James. Likewise, the Chicago Bears are a better organization than the Green Bay Packers. So I have to include that in there because I got Kevin from Wisconsin. Yeah. The Bears are 4-1 this year, and we're going to take over the Packers in a couple of weeks here. So.
And John, you don't know this, but I'm from North Carolina, and so my Tar Heels like to keep their allegiance with Michael Jordan as well. So we're singing from the same songbook here.
Love it. So, all right, a little background on the district. Consolidated High School District 230. We are 3 large high schools in the Chicagoland area. We're a suburban district. Just over 7,500 students. I put some data on there just so you can kind of see our makeup. We have just over 900 staff members. In general, we're pretty well. We do pretty well on keeping track of our financials and very much a district that has a high graduation rate. A lot of our kids go to a 2-year, 4-year college, but also there's a lot of focus on CTE and kind of the next phase once the District 230, even if it's not going down the 2-year college path. From a technology standpoint, I'm Chief Technology Officer here. I've been with the district for 9 years. We are 1-to-1 with Chromebooks, so I think a lot of what I'm sharing with you leads into kind of where we're at with our technology and applications. But we've been 1-to-1. This is our 3rd full year. Our 1-to-1 strategy was across 8 years, where we started with a small subset and started building up. We're on our 3rd year 1-to-1. As many of you guys know, and all districts are, I'm sure, living this in some form or another, but we are in right now working with hybrid learning. We moved from fully remote earlier this year to hybrid. And of course, last spring we were fully remote. So that's a little background of Connolly High School District 230. I thought I'd start with kind of our goals. Our technology goals don't really change from year to year. We have our digital learning program, which is the Chromebooks, operations and infrastructure, which is our foundation, professional development and training, which ends up being always in there, and then Skyward and systems. So this year, the goal actually added the remote hybrid learning. Quick funny story about that. Last school year, we were one of the few districts in Illinois to approve a e-learning plan where, with weather in Chicagoland area, we were going to actually, rather than have a snow day or a cold day, we were going to actually have our kids work from home. We put the whole plan in place. We got it approved. And the weather last winter, January, February, December through March, was unseasonably warm. And I remember talking to my superintendent, kind of using superintendent principles like, hey, if we're not going to get the weather, we have to have an e-learning day because we have this plan in place that there's all these benefits. And I would tease them and our students and say, like, we got to do something. And little did I know that we would run into a pandemic where rather than 1 or 2 days, it ended up being from March 14th on. So that was kind of me, a little karma of me teasing folks, because that was hard. And this year is pretty hard on technology in general. Here are our goals. Main thing I'm going to hit up today a little bit is Skyward and our systems, such as Canvas. So as I jump into that, that's always one of our main goals. Every CTO knows that systems have completely taken off. So in the last few years, if there was some kind of survey of saying, as a district, we had 10 key systems that we're using our applications, or 20. What it is now, it's probably more than doubled. And that could be anywhere from efficiencies like a new director or new admin starting saying, oh, I want to solve this issue. Here's an application that solves it. Or on the instructional front, this is something that's good for our students or teachers. Let's bring it on. So it's actually become an issue in the tech world of too many systems, both from a management standpoint, but even an end user. Our teachers and students of where to go, data being updated in those systems, et cetera. So it's an issue and it's not stopping. So it's something that we know about. And it's really tough to say no to folks that have an application that's going to solve an issue. So just to give you kind of a quick view of that, and I'm only showing you guys a fraction of what we have at District 230. The way my brain works, I think of tiers. So our 4 main kind of systems that I would throw out there are Skyward, and Skyward's the glue to everything. It's our student information system. Canvas is our learning management system. We're a Google shop for email and drive storage, and Mastering and Manager we use for our assessment. Next tier down are all of the, I would call them not as foundational, but systems that get wide usage and are leveraged by many of our teachers to especially on the digital learning side, to help increase learning and communication. There's the tier of intervention. So Ingenuity, or for our special needs EL students, there's a whole tier of applications there. And then there's the curricular applications that might be more targeted towards a given department in a given school. So just to kind of show you, and this is a small fraction, what we're talking about for main systems, that's what kind of District 230 looks like if I was bringing up the main ones. 2 ones we're going to talk about here are the glue systems, Skyward and Canvas. So a little background for us, we started with Skyward in 2009 on the finance front and swiftly moved to leveraging their student information system as well as HR. So we have in Skyward right now, student information systems there, our business suite, and our HR suite. That's huge for us because, again, it's talking about integration within its own platform. We don't have to have multiple systems for that. Our partnership with Skyward has been great. They've been great to work with as far as enhancements. They listen to the customer. What's common amongst our CTOs is we all say, like, Skyward just works, and that's exactly what we want from a CTO standpoint with the student information system. Canvas was brought on with our one-to-one program. We realized that to be one-to-one, you really the glue for a one-to-one and the learning side of things. So Skyward's the glue that helps our district run, and it's the operational portion of all of our systems. Canvas would be the glue to the instruction. So how do you deliver instruction digitally, and from a student standpoint, how do you interface with that? And we realized that learning management system was going to be the key component or the glue to our Chromebook or digital learning program. So Canvas we brought on in 2013-14 timeframe, and it was great to start. It didn't have the integration with Skyward, but our end users, our teachers loved it. Students loved it. It was a really easy way to organize what they have. Our relationship with Canvas has been great. We've had some great interfaces with their reps and product team on different components. Every week there's it seems like every month there's some kind of new feature, especially over the last few years of what Canvas has, and even additional product lines like assessment and different other components that now we can look at and say, can we condense these systems that are separate to kind of streamline everything? And so even though I'm talking about that, that kind of leads into kind of integration just in general. So those two systems, when they got together and said, and I think Kevin had mentioned it was 2016, the Canvas Skyward integration was huge. It was huge for us on a couple fronts. And I think the three things that I'm going to mention here, and I'll mention two here that aren't really even the headliner, but that nightly sync where teachers, students, sections, all of those components were kind of the headliner. So the first group of folks that were super happy with this was my technology staff. So it was initial setup, set and forget. That was in 2016. We set that up, and now we could turn it on or off if we want, but really we just let it run. We semesterize our gradebook, so that really helps with semester to semester what that looks like, and it just manages all the movement between our student information system and Canvas. For any CTO, when I talk, any CTO would share this with you. When you talk about number of systems, one of our big concerns is just our manager of our student information system, the amount of work they have to try and manually upload data into third-party systems, and or having to set up some very complicated integrations with all of the different systems and new systems and systems that are gone. It's just really taxing on technology staff. So that was number one with how great the integration was for us. Number two, teachers and students. So what we are able to do with this integration is now, since it's nightly, set and forget, we don't have to worry about the student movement. And at the beginning of the year, especially the beginning of the year, but it really throughout the whole semester, there's always new students that are coming in, transferring out, or transferring between classes. So that's been huge from our teacher standpoint and student standpoint of being able to log into Canvas and being in the right spot at the right time. That's tied into sections, which helps our teachers better manage the rooms. And even on the teacher movement or co-teaching front, just the movement of teachers tied into the right sections, co-teaching. If we have a co-teaching program where there's 2 teachers per class, they're automatically put in there, and that changes semester to semester. So all those are kind of the 2 components that that integration naturally helps with, and has been great. The headliner that if you talk to anyone in my district, any of the teachers, they would jump out and say Gradebook Sync. So the game changer for us, 2016, we started with, or 2013, 14, we started with Canvas, and we had a lot of adoption. We did not force it on our teachers. We let it just happen. When Gradebook Sync came in 2016, we probably went from 30 to 40% of folks using it. And again, it was a soft rollout. And we weren't fully one-to-one, spiked up to 70% because they realized the Gradebook Sync of having grades in Canvas and having those sync directly into Skyward was a game changer. So I shared a little information here, but basically from a teacher standpoint, you set up the grade sync in Canvas and you match up your assignments of what you have in Canvas to Skyward. So basically it syncs directly into Skyward Gradebook, which our teachers love. And the way we treat it, and a lot of districts treat it, is Skywards are the Gradebook of record. So that's where our parents check it out, and that's where parents and students would look for the actual grade, and all of the information in Canvas automatically comes over. Just like Canvas always does, they can continue to improve on their products. So they've recently added a status, and I just put a screen down here. So now our teachers can look and see what is synced and what hasn't, when did it sync, if there was any issues with anything that our teachers have set up. So that's kind of the gist of our Skyward and Canvas story. But we've been really happy with both products, both partnerships. We love that Canvas and Skyward started working together on their integration, and will continue to work together. And we're just really excited to see what more integrations can happen, especially since those are our two main systems in the district.
Awesome. So, John, I'm going to jump right in with some questions from the community. We've got one from Janine here on YouTube who's saying, new Canvas user, longtime Skyward user. As we approach the end of our first quarter, do you have any recommendations for our teachers specific to their grade books in Canvas, and for me as a Canvas admin? Anything she should know, any hints or tips or tricks?
Yeah, I think the number one thing, not to get too technical, but the number one thing is it's really easy. First off, it's really easy. The one thing that teachers sometimes get tripped up on is if they don't have the assignments spelled the same way. So it needs to be the assignment name in Skyward needs to match the assignment name in Canvas. And every once in a while, a teacher will get tripped up on that and they realize, oh, they need to match. So I would say for your training, just make sure you just hammer that home, and it'll be a quick training as it is, but make sure you hammer that home that the assignments need to match.
Love it. Anything that anyone else would add there, Kevin or Tracy, as far as things that Janine ought to be doing with her teachers and team?
You know, if there's a way that you have a sandbox that you can test it, just to make sure you go through that process from start to finish, just to make sure you're comfortable with it before you have all your teachers hit the submit button, that would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, and
I was going to suggest the same thing, Kevin, or even, if you have a few pioneer teachers who can, try to submit some grades earlier and make sure that before all the grades are due, that folks have had a chance to kind of kick the tires a little bit, so it's not all being tested when everybody is trying to submit.
Yeah, I would second that, Tracy. I think it's great to have those kind of pilot teachers go through it that are tech savvy, feel good about it, try it out, and then they can kind of train the trainer, if you will, to those other teachers that are a little bit more hesitant.
Love it. Let's take a question here from Greta, Greta is one of our Rockstar Canvas admins down in New Caney ISD in Texas. I believe she's supposed to be on vacation right now, so I'm wondering, Greta, why on earth you are tuning into our live stream. But nevertheless, I hope that's going well. She's wondering, do you have any custom gradebook columns in Canvas to make your grades in Skyward match up?
That is a good question. So I think if I'm understanding the question right, so any of our teachers would technically have custom columns because they're setting their own assignment. It's determined by teacher. So ultimately, those custom columns or assignments that they're creating would also be custom in Canvas, and then that's what matches back and forth.
Awesome. Oh, Tracy, we just got something really cool. We just got almost like a halo, a yellow halo over you. I don't know what that.
I love it. Oh, I don't know
means.
why. I don't see it. How funny.
It must be a sign of something. I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay, what else, Tracy? I know you've got questions all over the place. What has been really impressive to you with this Skyward integration, and specifically what District 230 is doing potentially?
Well, I love the statistic that John shared with us that, you had Canvas users before, you had Skyward, you had Canvas, and then once the two actually were properly integrated, it just really accelerated the adoption of the teachers in your district. And Kevin, I would love to hear a little bit sort of about what it is you hope to achieve, from a student information system, why it was important that you were able to integrate with Canvas for all of our joint customers out there?
You know what? And that's a great question, because we get requests for integrations or interfaces all the time, and the learning management systems with the remote learning has just exploded across the country, and the need for people to work more efficiently is always driving what Skyward does. When we did roll this API out, I got a call from Okeechobee School District down in Florida. The CIO went in front, just like probably John did, and said to the teachers, "Hey, we've got this API, it's bi-directional." She says, "Kevin, I've been in as a director and CIO for over 20 years. And this is the first time I got a standing ovation from the teachers." So again, when we talk about trying to save people time, which equates to money, stress, everything else, this is one of those occasions where we just hit it out of the ballpark. And again, with Canvas and Skyward, it's just been a great, great fit. So thank you guys for working with us.
Love it. John, so here's my one question. It's going to go around this whole room. We're going to save John for the end because he is the Michael Jordan of this session. We're going to start with Tracy because she won't get too mad at me if she's unhappy with the question. One tip, Tracy, this pandemic's been going on for quite some time now, about 9 months. Everybody's getting a little bit tired. Obviously, the integration between a SIS and an LMS is super important, but any advice that you'd give to all the educators out there who are trying to just slog their way through what's been a pretty difficult past 9 months?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. I think we have a lot of teachers out there and many teachers who have been teaching many, many years and have a lot of experience and are all maybe suddenly feeling like first-year teachers all over again out there, right? They're having to learn a whole new way of designing, teaching, and learning to move forward. So I always encourage patience for the teachers and for parents and students out there, and even for other teachers, just grace, that we want to give to the teachers because they all want to do the very best things for their students. And I would say the other piece is, start simple, start basic. Let the systems, carry the load for you that they can. And when you have systems, and if you're lucky enough to be in a district that has an integration like we do here in District 230 with Skyward and Canvas and New Caney and these other districts that have mentioned theirs, let the systems carry as much of the load for you. Don't make it harder for yourself. Don't try to recreate the wheel.
Love it. Kevin M., we're going over to you. Any advice you'd give to all these great teachers and educators out there?
Hang in there. I just, again, thanks for everything you're doing. For all the parents that have been homeschooling or working with the teachers virtually, thank you. Parents really appreciate you. So again, use the technology where it makes sense, and this is one that makes sense. But thanks for all you guys do. I really appreciate it.
Love it. Kevin D., I'm going to you. But before we do that, back to our friend Greta. If only we had, a VP of product or something who could help with this thing that Greta is saying. We would love to have Skyward allow a semester exam call and pass back. Whether that happens or not, I'm just going to stick it out there. Good information for the Kevin Squared to know about. Kevin, what kind of advice would you give to any teachers or educators that are trying to make it through?
I would definitely echo what Tracy said. I think, we have a lot of really good teachers out there that are doing some new stuff this year. And we have a lot of parents that have become teachers this year. So we're all kind of in the same boat, learning new things. And we live in an age where we can reach out to so much information. So again, I would reach out to colleagues. I would reach out on Twitter and YouTube and different platforms to reach out to District 230 and some of their awesome teachers, or Okeechobee or New Caney. The community of teachers is really strong. And regardless of what state or district that you're in, you're doing the same thing, and we want the best instruction for our students, and that's why we created this partnership. You know, we wanted more time for instruction and less time doing data entry. So for all those teachers, I would say, yeah, start small, work your way up. There's a ton of information out there, and a ton of really great people on social media, different platforms where you can just pose questions and they'll do their best to help you because they've been in that same situation. So we'll kind of get through this together and we'll have great instruction for students.
Love it. Yes, John, Michael, Jordan, Connolly, you are going to get the last word. However, I want to ask this question we got from YouTube just barely, and this might be a good question for Kevin D to take as the VP of Product over at Skyward. Any suggestions on how to deal with grade syncing for assignments and quizzes that need to be assigned to specific students in a class based on ability level? Anybody can jump in there. Any thoughts, feelings, suggestions would be great.
I would say in both Gradebooks, I believe that you could create assignments, and for those students that aren't in that ability or maybe have a different one, there's basically a no-show or kind of zeroing out that assignment. Basically, you would just mark it as no-show for those students that don't have to take it. And then within Canvas, you kind of do the same thing. Those grades would populate over. And then if you wanted to create a different assignment for a different group of students, then you would just check those students in. I think going back to John's point, though, those assignments have to match.
Love it. Okay, everyone, it has been a pleasure to be with all of you. Most importantly, the Michael Jordan of Skyward and Canvas, John Connolly. We want to give you the last word. Let's be clear. I get the last word, but I'm going to let you have the almost last word. What is that advice that you'd give to any student, teacher, educator out there?
It's similar to what everyone said, but I would say from a teacher standpoint, these are trying times, and remote is so new to teachers, students, and the hybrid is absolutely remote, especially hybrid if you're doing it synchronously. So keep it simple, stay positive, hang in there. You know, I'll give you a quick story. We were meeting with a student advisory group last week, and I had one by one, I asked all of them, tell me how it's going, good or bad. And every single one of those students, 20 students, said our teachers are doing a really good job. They're managing remote students and on-site students really well. And both from the remote and on-site, they said, we feel like our teachers giving us attention. And it's one of those things where their students are sharing this. And I'm not sure all teachers realize how well they're doing because they're so passionate about and perfectionist with learning and what they want to have happen. But sometimes it's good to take a step back and realize what you're doing for the students. This is a different learning experience, but ultimately it's working for our students. So thank you.
And we would totally echo that. I'll go back to Kevin's kind of slow clap that he gave to all of these educators out there who are really doing just a fantastic job. We're impressed on a daily basis. We got to meet with many of you yesterday. Thank you for all you're doing. Hang in there. Keep learning from great partners and customers like John and the Kevins. Skyward's an excellent partner. If you haven't checked them out, go and do it, please. And please make sure that you don't, over-index on John's inbox the next little bit, because I know he's going to be getting calls and emails off the chain, just trying to learn how to be more like him and that great district down in Chicagoland. Thanks, John. Thanks, Kevins. Tracy, as always, such a pleasure. We'll be back on Monday, everybody. Monday morning, 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. That's 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central. See you then, everybody. Talk soon.